and some media look at players and look at them a certain way when they want to take their happiness and their future in their own hands. Anytime something like this happens from a team, it's the business. Oh, it's part of the business, trade deadline, it's the business. But it's so much more than that to players. We have families, guys like him have been there his whole entire career. You know, and then you look at when LeBron goes somewhere or KD moves somewhere, they're the villain, they're the snake, they're this, they're that. Guys just want to do what's best for them because teams have always done that, and it's been the business.
Absolutely. And I think the other part of it to remember is he didn't get traded to the Clippers or to the Celtics or to the Rockets. He got sent to Cleveland. I know he's going to say all the right things, but there has to be a level of disappointment. Like the good news, we got you out of Detroit. All right, cool, where are we going? Cleveland. To a team that's somehow even worse than Detroit.
Or I'm just going to stay in Cleveland. I would say I'm just going to stay.
Y'all got it, right?
I don't know. Look. I think it is less about where he is going. I believe him. It is more It is more about, like he says, he didn't get any heads up. I don't know to that degree. We've been talking for 2 or 3 weeks about how he's likely to get traded today, but I understand maybe he didn't get a direct heads up.
If he gets sent to the Clippers, he's not reacting like that.
Well, I don't know. I understand though, and this is a push-pull that just exists in sports, and it is hard to understand how to deal with. Well, it's not just that, but you guys are asked to go into that locker room and be brothers. That's not just a cliche. You cannot win a championship unless you feel real bonds with your team, with your city, with your coach. You actually bleed. It is not an expression. You guys actually bleed for these teams, and you have to win a title, and then ripped away. So it is part of the nature of this business, and I understand why it's complicated. Brian, I want to get your take on this. Are Ramona Shelburne confirming the David Aldridge report that the Lakers are going to now work out J.R. Smith?
About time.
What do you think of that?
Well, unfortunately, J.R. really hasn't shown quality basketball in like 3 years. I mean, one of the things that happened last year with the Cavs, they benched him. The Cavs tried to trade him for months. He had the entire summer. Nobody signed him. If JR could be the guy that he was in 2016-17 era, he'd be a huge boon because he played at both ends of the court. But JR has not shown that. But I do know something about JR. He stays in fantastic shape.
Yep.
And he's the type of guy who can come out and hit 8 3-pointers like that. And I'll bet he can do that when he's 50. So the thing will just be, again, this is a guy who has not played in the NBA since November of 2018.
Right.
So it's exciting because we saw him play his best basketball next to LeBron, and I'm sure a lot of Laker fans are like, yeah, J.R. Smith, but the reality is, he's going to have to prove a lot for them to cut a player. They don't have a roster spot. They'd have to cut a player to bring him in.
Well, and I think the one thing to remember here is the risk-reward, right? The risk is cutting a player, right, whether it's Troy Daniels or Quinn Cook or someone like that. The reward is...
Quinn Cook is so popular in that locker room. Troy Daniels too, but I'm just saying.
Whoever the guy is, that's the risk, right? But at the end of the day, you're also paying what? Minimum, at most, the injury exception that they got for DeMarcus Cousins. The reward is...
Upside is...
The upside is huge. Like, and at the worst case scenario, he's a guy who doesn't play, like the guy that they'd probably cut right now. So I think it's worth a try and worth a look.
I agree, and I think just to counter Brian's sentiments, and I agree with you, it hasn't been quality basketball for JR for a little bit of time, but as in Dwight Howard's case, JR knows this is his last chance. I think when you have to sit out of a game you're not ready to sit out of, and you still have that fire to play, you're going to change and do whatever you possibly can to fit in. No one would have thought Dwight Howard was going to do what he did this year because Dwight knew as a man, this is my last shot at this game I love. J.R. Smith is a friend of mine. I know he's feeling the exact same way. So I'm happy that the Lakers at least giving him a shot. And like Amin said, if he's cut for someone that and he doesn't end up playing, they're in the same position. But on the flip side, he can come in these playoffs and get hot and win a couple games for you, and you're going to be like, hell of a move. So I love the fact they're working him out, and he needs a chance.
Wow. All right. Well, we will see. And obviously a very different environment than when he left Cleveland. A lot of things in flux and changing there at that time, and the Lakers certainly know where they are trying to go. We got some interesting stuff for you on the future of the NBA, so stick with us. You are going to want to hear what's coming down the pike. We'll be right back.
How long is this show?
We need more. We saw Isaiah Thomas thrown in there. Brian pointed out, hey, that's partly a money thing. Isaiah Thomas maybe should not re-rent that apartment in L.A.
My understanding is he's not going to end up staying in Los Angeles. So then now that spot for Collison.
Possibly.
With the Clippers, possibly opens up
Clippers have a number of spots. They could go a number of ways. But yes, if Isaiah is not going to be there, then they still have a spot for a guard for sure.
So this Clippers-Lakers arms race that we thought maybe ended at 3 p.m. Eastern today, possibly still going on, although, again, Darren Collison would have to decide to come back for him to be a part of that again. Marvin Williams also.
Are we keeping score on the arms? I mean, because, like, on the court, it's 2-0 Clippers, right?
In terms of head-to-head.
Head-to-head.
Yep.
And in the offseason and now at the trade deadline, I think it's like 4-0 now, isn't it?
Kawhi counts for more than one.
That's
though.
right.
I think it's like you rack it up, but it doesn't matter until the actual.
That's
playoffs.
right.
I was gonna
That's
say,
right.
Guess what counts?
They don't care to carry it
Whoever
over.
they give that title to, there you go. Whoever comes out of the West, that is going to be the scoreboard that counts. I want to get back to the D'Angelo Russell, Andrew Wiggins trade. What happens now? Look at that. That's beautiful. Again, Kay
Those
Howard
your
hooking
hands?
us up. Those are so not my hands. Matt Barnes, your old team, picking up Andrew Wiggins, D'Angelo Russell, going to the Timberwolves. What do you think happens now for the Warriors? Because they needed someone in that spot. And look, it would be great if all of the best players were lined up available for them to pick from. You might not pick Andrew Wiggins, but that just wasn't the case. Andrew Wiggins was who was available.
I think this was more of a strategic play, you know, like to get under the luxury tax, as Ramona just mentioned, where they have 9 guys under contract
Yeah,
right
they
now.
have 9 players under contract. Like, I think you can field a team, but they need to start signing
the Denver
guys.
Nuggets won with 7 last week.
That's
so,
right.
There you go.
So I just think, like I said, I think they're lining up their
Matt, you want to suit back up? Because there's a roster spot
Looks
open
like
for
you
you.
can play.
I'll be 40 next month. I'm too old. But I just think they understand what this season is. Everyone understands what this season is. They're playing for next year and beyond. Because to me, if you can still package, whether it's Wiggins, a lottery pick possibly, you get Clay and Steph back healthy next season, and you're right back in the Western Conference contention.
When the Warriors close their eyes and they see Andrew Wiggins, okay, and then just go with me on this. Okay, go back to the start of this in 2015. They had Harrison Barnes in that spot. Can you see it?
I can.
Can you see them?
Different
Warriors
players,
fans don't want to hear that, Ramona.
I just do the machine.
Well, because normally wings in this situation, unless you're a KD type player, a wing is
Yep.
going to be a 3-and-D guy, and those are 2 of his biggest deficiencies. He
That's
doesn't
correct.
play defense and he doesn't shoot the 3. He's a tremendous talent on the ball, handling the ball, getting to the basket, getting shots for himself, but that's not how that offense plays.
Right.
And I think for the Warriors, this is something that you go all the way back to when Kevin Durant left this summer. They had a choice. Do you let him walk out the door for nothing, or do you try to swing something with Brooklyn and get something in return? And the reason why they go and try to get something in return is now they have some assets. We've just been talking about the Lakers and Clippers and the lack of assets that both teams had to try to do something. The Clippers had just a few more assets to get something done, and that was why they were able to. The Lakers did not. The Warriors now have, what is going to probably be a top 3 pick this year. They have Andrew Wiggins in a contract that is still a tough contract, but let's see what they can do with him. They just acquired it's a protected pick in the following year, but let's say the Minnesota pick is a top 10 pick. That's a valuable asset right there. And they have had this year to develop some young players who will have some value. Plus, they have a $17 million trade exception from that Andre Iguodala deal.
With all due respect.
Okay.
Shenanigans. They traded 2 picks and Andre Iguodala. 1 first round, actually 2 first round picks. One's never going to convey. But they traded 2 picks.
Okay.
And Andre Iguodala. We just saw Andre Iguodala get traded for Justice Winslow.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Justice Winslow will be freaking great for
Right.
the Warriors. They didn't get him. And they traded
To
Russell.
make room, and they traded him to make
got-
room for D'Lo.
And they got 2 picks. I think I would rather have the cap space that they're now paying Andrew Wiggins, and I would have been in the same position. I would have my picks because, by the way,
Who would you have, again, this is like,
Well,
hey,
there
he
was
should
a-
be an all-star.
there
who
was
you
the
taking
option
off?
with New York.
Who are you getting with that cap space?
there's a ton of different ways to use cap space.
Right.
And I'm just saying, now they are locked into Andrew Wiggins. Now, I'm not going to sit here and cry for the Warriors. They have Steph Curry.
Right.
They have Klay
Yeah.
Thompson. They have Draymond Green. And they're probably going to have a top 3 pick this year. A-okay, don't you worry about it. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I like the way they handled this. I don't think they handled this correctly. And if they could go back, I think they would have let Kevin Durant walk and hung on to Andre Iguodala and found a different way to use him. That's my opinion.
And let's go even this week. The Warriors also had conversations with the New York Knicks. The Knicks trade for D'Angelo Russell, they had
Right.
strong interest in him, was a very different kind of trade. The Knicks would have been sending expiring contracts and maybe a draft pick or 2
So
for
they had the
D'Angelo.
chance maybe to get some of that cap space back, and they opted not to do that.
Correct. Well, obviously, this
Right.
is where we
But I'm
landed.
talking about the decision that they made last year.
Well, I know, but
Right.
Ramona's saying that they kind of had the chance to undo it if they wanted to. Matt, I'm interested in this idea, though, the idea of letting Kevin Durant walk for nothing versus not letting him walk for nothing. I don't know how much of that was informed by Oklahoma City, watching Kevin Durant walk
Right,
away for
right.
nothing. What is the mentality, do you think, sort of in that desperate moment when you realize you're losing one of the superstars of this league?
Well, I think this is something new, trading
Yeah.
superstars before they can walk. You know,
Right.
so I think this is new for everybody. It's different. I think looking back, obviously, if they could have let him go and just understood, okay, this is just going to be the year.
Right.
We've had a hell of a run. Everyone take a break. heal up, and we're going to get back at this 2021. So looking back, they probably could have did some things different, but you just never know. They are where they are now. Like I said, I don't like the trade for Wiggins. I just don't. Like I said, good young player. Just I don't see him fitting in the grand scheme of things. But, Bob and the guys have continued to make, miracles happen. So let's just see what happens.
That's the best thing. We get to find out. We can all sit here and guess, but they're going to start playing the games. And in fact, Andrew Wiggins expected to be in that Warriors lineup for our Saturday ABC primetime game. So that just got a little bit more interesting against LeBron and the Lakers. Stay with us. We have so much more coming. Our trade deadline special not over yet. We will break down for you